demanded uniformity and low cost. Copper pots became plastic bottles. Natural purification became chemical processing, and an ancient understanding quietly slipped out of collective memory. It resurfaced by accident in 1984. A researcher named Don Heskett was running routine water treatment experiments. At some point during his work, he dipped a brass pen into a beaker of heavily chlorinated water. Brass, if you are not familiar, is an alloy of copper and zinc. What happened next stopped him cold. As the pen contacted the water, the chlorine simply vanished. No chemicals added, no electricity applied. The physical contact between the copper-zinc alloy and the chlorinated water triggered an instantaneous reaction that neutralized the chlorine completely. Heskett spent the next 3 years studying and refining this reaction. He patented the technology under the name KDF, kinetic degradation fluxion. But to understand why this discovery matters, and why the water industry has kept it at arm's length, we need to look at what actually happens at the molecular level. 3. The science of the spark. Let me make this as clear as possible, because the science is what separates this from internet folklore. When copper and zinc are placed together in water, they form something called a galvanic cell, named after the Italian scientist Luigi Galvani. Think of it as a tiny, self-powered battery. Here is what happens, step by step. The setup. Zinc is a restless metal. At the atomic level, it desperately wants to give away its electrons. Copper is the opposite, stable, receptive, willing to accept what zinc offers. When these two metals physically touch while submerged in water, zinc atoms begin releasing electrons spontaneously. These electrons flow from the zinc into the copper. The water between them acts as the bridge that completes the circuit. The result is a tiny, persistent electrical current. You will never feel it. You could not power a flashlight with it. But at the molecular scale, it is a weapon. What this current does, 3 things simultaneously. 1. It eliminates chlorine. The electrical reaction forces electrons onto molecules of free chlorine, changing their chemical structure. Toxic chlorine becomes harmless chloride, the same compound found naturally in table salt. This happens in seconds, not hours. Let that sink in. Seconds. 2. It captures heavy metals, lead, mercury, arsenic, hexavalent chromium. These dissolved poisons are drawn into the electrical field generated by the galvanic reaction. Through a process called electroplating, they are pulled out of the water and permanently bonded to the metal surface. Trapped, locked in place. 3. It destroys bacteria. This is the mechanism that kept Egyptian soldiers alive and Greek sailors healthy. The galvanic current disrupts the internal enzyme processes that bacteria need to function and reproduce. On top of that, the reaction generates reactive oxygen species, essentially tiny molecular grenades that tear through bacterial cell walls. The water becomes a hostile environment where bacteria, algae, and fungi simply cannot survive. This is not magic, this is electrochemistry. It is the same principle that powers the battery in your phone, except here, the battery is 2 metals, the circuit is dirty water, and the output is purification. 4. NASA's endorsement. If you are thinking this sounds too simple to be real, consider who else reached the same conclusion. NASA. In the 1960s, as engineers prepared for the Apollo moon missions, they faced an impossible constraint. How do you provide safe drinking water inside a tiny capsule floating through the vacuum of space? You cannot haul heavy filtration systems. You cannot waste energy boiling water. And you absolutely cannot use corrosive chlorine gas in a sealed, pressurized cabin where astronauts breathe recycled air. NASA's solution was an electrolytic silver-copper ion generator. It was the size of a cigarette pack. It weighed 9 ounces. It required almost 0 power. This device dispensed metallic ions directly into the water supply successfully eliminating 100% of bacteria and preventing algae growth, all without leaving any chemical taste. When the Apollo technology was eventually declassified, it found commercial applications on Earth. Companies adapted the copper-silver ionization approach for cooling towers, public fountains, and aquatic habitats at marine research centers. The Environmental Protection Agency went further. It officially registered hundreds of copper alloys as antimicrobial materials capable of killing bacteria on contact. 4,000 years of human observation, peer-reviewed electrochemistry, NASA field testing, EPA verification. The evidence does not whisper, it shouts. 5. Why you have never heard of this. So why is this not standard? Why does every outdoor store push $40 pump filters while a few dollars of metal from a hardware store can accomplish similar results? The answer is not a conspiracy. It is a business model. The global water purifier market is valued at over $35 billion per year. The profit engine of this industry is not the device. It is the replacement cartridge. Activated carbon filters saturate and expire every 2 to 6 months. You buy the pitcher once. You buy cartridges forever. It is, in effect, a subscription model built around a physical product. Now consider what copper-zinc technology represents to this model. A KDF-based filter removes chlorine, captures heavy metals, and inhibits bacterial growth. It requires no electricity and no chemical regeneration, and it can remain effective for up to 6 years. You cannot build a recurring revenue empire on a product that does not need replacing. This does not mean the industry has suppressed the technology. Copper-zinc media does appear in some commercial filters, but almost always as a minor supplementary component, never as the primary filtration stage. The emphasis remains on carbon cartridges that need regular replacement because that is where the profit margin lives. It is not villainy, it is economics, but the result for consumers is the same. The simplest, most durable option stays in the background, while the most profitable option takes center stage. 6. Build your own earth filter, a practical guide. Here is where this video pays for itself. Everything we have discussed, the history, the chemistry, the space program, means nothing if you cannot use it. But first, an honest disclaimer. Copper and zinc galvanic cells are highly effective against bacteria, chlorine, and dissolved heavy metals. They are not effective against everything. Specifically, they do not remove agricultural pesticides, and they cannot reliably eliminate parasitic cysts like Giardia or Cryptosporidium, which have hard shells that resist electrochemical attack. This is not a flaw, it is a boundary. Knowing the boundary is what separates a survivor from a victim. Now here is how to build a multi-stage system that covers those gaps. Stage 1. Pre-filtration. If your water source is visibly murky, pour it through a cloth, a bandana, or a tightly woven t-shirt. This removes sediment, floating debris, and larger particles. It does not purify, it just prepares the water for the real work. Stage 2. The galvanic cell. Go to any hardware store, buy a length of 14-gauge bare solid copper wire and a strip of pure zinc metal. Total cost, under $5. Cut both to equal lengths, about 12 inches or 30 centimeters. Now twist them tightly together. This direct metal-to-metal contact is critical. Without it, there is no electron flow and no galvanic reaction. Drop the twisted pair into your water container, a canteen, a pot, a bottle, any non-reactive vessel. Wait. 4 hours is the minimum effective time. 8 hours is significantly better. Overnight, 16 hours is ideal. While you sleep, the galvanic current is silently working. Zinc atoms are releasing electrons. Chlorine molecules are being neutralized. Heavy metal ions are being pulled from solution and bonded to the metal surface. Bacterial cell walls are being destroyed. When you remove the metals in the morning, rinse them and store them dry. They are reusable for months. Stage 3. Charcoal filtration. Take charcoal from your campfire, not briquettes, which contain chemical additives, but natural hardwood charcoal. Crush it into small pieces. Pack it into a clean container with a small drainage hole. A sock, a cut plastic bottle, or a piece of bamboo works. Pour your metal-treated water through this charcoal layer. The charcoal absorbs organic chemicals, pesticides, and residual tastes that the galvanic cell does not target. Stage 4. Advanced diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is a soft white powder made from the fossilized remains of ancient microscopic algae called diatoms. Under magnification, each particle looks like a jagged, porous sponge. When water passes through a layer of diatomaceous earth, particles as small as 1 to 2 microns are physically trapped, including giardia and cryptosporidium cysts, which are too tough for chemical treatment, but too large to pass through this natural sieve. Diatomaceous earth is available at garden supply stores and costs very little. The result? By combining these 4 stages, cloth pre-filtration, copper-zinc galvanic purification, charcoal chemical adsorption, and diatomaceous earth physical filtration, you have constructed a multi-stage water purification system from hardware store metal, campfire ash, and natural mineral powder. It addresses bacteria, chlorine, heavy metals, organic chemicals, pesticides, and parasites. It costs under $10 total. It requires no electricity, no batteries, and no replacement cartridges, and the core metals are reusable for months.
Shalom, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of the great millstone that taught us his truth, and shalom to our elders and bishops of GMS South Carolina, and GMS North Carolina, and GMS Detroit, GMS Kingdom, GMS Dallas, GMS Atlanta, GMS Las Vegas, GMS San Francisco Bay, and the other GMS elders and bishops of the great millstone. Shalom to you all, and the water for your good work, and shalom to you affiliates of GMS. Shalom. Continue to do your part, doing the good work of pushing the truth in the highways and byways and marketplaces of the internet, and as well as on the streets. Okay. Shalom to you Aquiums, you women. You're learning this truth. You're watching the videos, and you are seeking and searching for a righteous male covering, that you may come under his righteous spiritual vibration and go into the kingdom with him and obey from him and learn from him. Okay, and serve him. Okay. Shalom. Welcome to today's lesson. This is your Hebrew Israelite brother, Mashaba, here in the city of Detroit. We're doing a short lesson right quick. This lesson here is on Exodus chapter 30, starting at verse 17. What we're talking about, as you just seen in that video, talking about the different metals concerning copper and zinc and brass. I didn't know that brass was alloyed of both copper and zinc metals brought together. Okay, and that's what brass basically is. They have that same type of it has that same alloy as both of those together. And so, and you know, and all the things that you can do with copper and zinc together like that, you know, to create a little 5 volts or so, or a little less of power. You know, you probably can charge a cell phone with that or something, or run a 5-volt fan or something with that. You know, as well as other properties, the cleansing of the water. You know, how to get rid of the bacteria and the heavy metals that draws it out to the copper and the zinc. You know, as well as it turns the chlorine into chloride, where it's drinkable. Okay, and clears the water up. And you know, I didn't know it does all that. And here it is, people buying these here water purifiers from TikTok when they can just simply go to the hardware, spend about $5 and buy a couple of strips of metal. copper and zinc, you know. And so it's good to know these things. I thought I'd make this video, and show where the Lord had Moses to use this copper for foot bathing, because of copper, what it ionized, electrolyted the water, okay, and purified the water, okay, so he can bathe their feet and everything. So they can bathe, their feet and everything, and be washed and be clean. You see, so copper is and zinc are purifiers, okay, and energy storers. You can use copper and zinc concerning electrical energy and type things, and off-grid ether energy. That's what I'm trying to say, ether energy. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and right on off into this. This is Exodus chapter 30, starting verse 17, and it reads, "And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Thou shalt also make a laver of brass." See, a laver of brass, okay, and his feet also of brass. Now, see, a laver. What's a laver? Let's find out right quick what a laver is, because I don't exactly know what a laver is. Okay, written in blue letter. Okay, and I just want to know what this laver is and what it's about exactly. Okay, laver. Let's see what it means. Okay, laver. Okay, Hebrew. Kayar. A basin. Okay, a laver is a basin for boiling in a pan. Okay, for cooking. Okay, and we got some example here. A fire pan or hearth. Okay, we have examples of that right there in Zechariah 12 and 6. And for the pan for cooking, 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 14, tells you what that's about. Okay, and the sacred wash bowl of the tabernacle and temple. Okay, and that's where we at now. Exodus chapter 30, verse 18, 28, verse 31, chapter 31, verse 9, chapter 35, verse 16, and chapter 38, verse 8, chapter 39, verse 39, chapter 40, verse 7, chapter verse 11, and verse 30, and etc. Okay, a basin for the water used by the priest in their ablution, that which was originally used in the tabernacle was a brass, rather copper, okay? That's what we're looking for. Copper, okay? Hebrew, nasheth, made from the metal mirrors the women brought out of Egypt. Okay, Exodus 38 and 8. It contained water wherewith the priests washed their hands and feet when they entered the tabernacle. Okay, Exodus chapter 40, verse 32. It stood in the court between the altar, okay, between the altar and the door of the tabernacle. And that's where we at. Exodus chapter 30, verse 19, verse 21. So that's what a laver is. Okay. We know what that is now. Okay. So that's a pan or somewhat of a pot made of copper, because brass, as we've seen inside the video, brass is an alloy of both copper and zinc together. Okay, so it purifies the water as well. Okay, it has those properties to do so. Okay, so now we know this. To wash withal, and thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation, okay, and the altar. So that way, as the those from the congregation will walk up, I mean the priest, you will walk up, wash his hands, bathe his feet, right quick, you see, and he good, okay, and he good. And thou shalt put water therein, okay, put water inside there to purify it. For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet thereat. You see, right there, between the congregation and the altar, okay? And so that way that can be done, okay, before they even walk up there inside the tabernacle. So that way when they go into the tabernacle, automatically, as they enter into the door, before they can approach the altar, that bowl, copper bowl with the water was already there waiting. Already water inside there, already purified, already clean, because of the metal, you see. And that's the thing about this. It's the metal. It's the same metal of today. The metal ain't changed. The metal in the earth ain't changed. It's still the same. You can still use copper and zinc to purify water today. Okay. And see, so that's what this is, to educate a brother, these brothers, that's what this video is about, to educate you and let you know about how you can use, copper and zinc to purify water, because we're going into a perilous time. Okay. Israel and the Israeli government and the U.S. government have been attacking the Iranian government, and this war is going on and only going to progress. Okay, pretty soon that sleeper cells that are here, the domestic sleeper cells, the foreign sleeper cells of all the countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, Cuba, okay, they're all here. Brazil, they're all here, waiting on their opportunity to strike. You see, flat out. You see, so when they do, a lot of they're going to strike the utilities. It's going to be cyber attacks. Power and water are going to go out. You're going to need to, purify your water, clean your water, boil your water, and all these things. Well, hey, this video is to help you to understand you can also use metals. Go to the hardware now. You can buy some 2 pieces of metal and keep them in your pocket or in your backpack or whatever. Okay? And bam, you can purify your water. I just ordered Lord's will, I will order a copper water bottle. So, and some metal strips, copper and zinc. Now that I know these things, I can use these things to better purify water, okay, for myself as well as for others. Okay, this verse 20. We're going to close out in a second. When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water, that they die not. You see? Because really, it's the same principle. You can die if you drink bad water. If you don't purify it, you got to wash it. You got to clean it. And that's what these metals do. Copper and zinc. They clean the water. Okay? They clean the water. That they die not, or when they come near to the altar, probably so they don't get zapped, for real. A thermonuclear energy laser. Yes, for real. Okay. Come near to the altar to minister. You see, to the people. You see, now you see that? Now you talking about that they can't be a false prophet. Back in the day, boy, you could get zapped by the Lord. You know, if you could get up there calling yourself gonna preach to the people, you know, from the altar and the tabernacle to the congregation, and you ain't right, you ain't clean, you dirty, you'll die. You can flat out die. You could be killed. That won't be a murder. That'd be a killing. That'd be justified. Cause you was unclean. You was unclean. That's why they always say, hey, let Moses go over there and talk to him, okay? He clean. Flat out. He clean. Let Moses do it. You know what I'm saying? To burn off to burn offering made by fire unto the Lord. You see? You see. So that's the understanding on that. In verse 21, so they shall wash their hands and their feet, and they die not. And it shall be a statute forever to them, even to him and to his seed. You see, generational. Throughout their generations. You see? Flat out. So, hey, we just wanted to read that to you concerning these metals, copper and zinc, and how they can purify waters, how you can clean them. You don't need to order the water purifier from TikTok. You can just order you a copper water bottle and go down to the hardware and buy you a couple of strips of metal, metal wire, copper wire, as well as zinc wire. Okay, and twist them together and keep them in your pocket and be ready to purify water. Okay, or keep them in water to purify it, to keep it purified, and it's gonna draw off the heavy metals. You see how you go to TikTok to order all that stuff to draw the metals out, to detoxify the metals out your body. This will detoxify the metals, draw the metals, heavy metals out of the water before you even drink it. So that way they don't even come into your body. Okay, not through your water, by using these means of copper and zinc. You see. So Lord's will, you were edified by today's lesson. Okay. Hopefully you were motivated and inspired to put together some precepts that you would make an edifying video, that you would feed the sheep. Because remember, as good shepherds of the Lord, as always, our job is to feed this sheep. So brothers and sisters, hold on, stay strong. We ain't got long. Keep yourself occupied in the word until Yahweh Shai has returned. Keep yourself spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally occupied, circumspect about what's going on around you. And so that way you will know and maintain being a good vigilance and being aware and knowing what is going on. It is because of Yahweh, flat out. And think not these things to be strange. It's Yahweh. These things that happen to you. Okay, take it cheerfully. Okay, you see. And so we can go ahead and close it out. We'd like to give all praise and all honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to our apostles and elders of the great millstone that taught us this truth. Peace and salutation to the hope of the next. Shalom to the hope of the next.